Right, okay then. Now we are heading towards issue number 53, which is a paint issue. Now, depending on where you stand about the excitement of paints, you know, whether or not you really like these kind of issues. I myself find them a bit of a mixed bag. So sometimes, it's hey, I've got paints. It's always good to have a few paints. However, I'll, sometimes in the actual issue itself, we get some we get some good information, not just about "Hey, this is how you paint," but like the basing issue, I found that one to be a fantastic resource. So, it's not everyone's going to be excited with a paint issue, are they? But for me, sometimes I think they actually reveal some really useful stuff. And it's also sometimes good when you've been painting for years, just to actually fall back and look up some painting techniques that you have been doing for so long, you've become a bit lazy, and then it's kind of refreshing your knowledge and saying, oh, actually, maybe I'll get a better. Sometimes you can be so obsessed with trying new things, you forget some of the fundamentals. So yeah, definitely quite interesting. What are we looking at here to begin with? Well, the front cover is quite an interesting one because we've got three, obviously what looks like chaos warriors on the front. Now, looking at them, we've got one who looks very Slaneshi on some kind of like serpentine creature. I would say one that's looking Nurgle, and then the other looks undivided. So, basically a mixed host. It's covering, so the silver is Stormhost silver. You've got Ogryn Camo, and you've got Cultists, and then we've also got this one, the armies of Hish, and what have we got? The Lumineth Realm Lords. Now we don't get any Lumineth Realm Lords with Stormbringer, and they are actually quite a nice looking army. They're very, they've obviously been inspired by the High Elves from the old world, which means that they're not an army that I would probably collect. I'm not an Elven player. However, looking at this, definitely there's some really cool things going on. Well, that's interesting as well. It gives you a little bit about the heathenites of Slaanesh, and Sigvald the Magnificent leading them. Now, he's an old world character. So again, those kind of things always interest me when they still link back, to the old world, and not every single character died, like Gotrex, for example, who's going around complaining about it not being as good. Anyway, so right, so this is the thing. So we've got a chaos on the front, and then when we open it up, it's about the realm of light. So which I assume is Hish. Yeah, Hish, the realm of light. So assume that's how Hysh. Hish sounds about right. So it's obviously where the Lumineth Realm Lords stay most often. I'm going to assume that's the best way to describe them, where they kind of have their main base. There's quite a nice pull out in this one. In fact, I'll just sort of hit on. I like these maps; are always amazing. Who doesn't love a good map? And again, you've got the. Let's have a look. I always have a look at these maps because sometimes my head wonders, to look at the kind of interesting like naming of things. There's a lot of places called Tor in here. Wait. Just trying to get my tongue around certain parts of these. The reason the word Tor keeps sticking up at me is because I'm pretty certain that there's quite a lot of High Elf Ulthwan from the Old World place is called Tor. So, you know, this is obviously not any Old World place, but it is kind of very interesting how it's basically these are the ascendants of the High Elves who've survived. I have no doubt that they're kind of led by, not, is it Calador? No, Calador's the Dragon Prince. I can't remember his name. Teclis. But he's probably got a different name now. Okay. And there we go. We definitely do have a nice little bit about the Realm of Light. Signs of a Chaos Cult. So that's an interesting one. How to know if you're being corrupted, basically. And I assume if you know you're being corrupted, then the choices are very simple. You either enjoy it and carry on, or you hand yourself over to the Witchfinders for a summary execution so you can be saved. Looks like there's some little demon stuff as well going on, which is always cool. The Champions of Hish. So, right, hang on. Right, this is kind of like if you want your hero to come from there. So maybe if you're Stormhost, if you might have painted up a Stormhost from there or something similar. Now, using the Stormhost Silver and Ogryn Camo paint, the Ogryn Camo paint is a very off-green putrid colour. I'm glad I've got that one actually, because I've been thinking of I wanted a kind of toned down green from a Bretonnian archers in places, so I've got that green now that I'm going to use. Right. The silver is being shown as a highlight for the Stormcasts for their golden, to give the impression of edges, but maybe also wear and tear and chipping. Being used on the Cruel Boys to give a highlight to their skin with the Ogryn Camo. So yeah, so it's just basically, do you know, and this is what I mean about these paint issues. Sometimes they give you a load of stuff about different techniques, and sometimes it's like this one where it's like, use these to highlight, and you know, it's sometimes you want more than that. Let's have a look here. Sylvaneth battle traits, so places of power. It's using the Azurite Fountain as its reference on that one. Gloomspite Git battle traits. Let's have a look what we got here. I'm trying to have a think here. Yeah, so it's basically talking about the Bad Moon's orbit and how it affects the Gloomspite Gits. If you've ever read the book, what's it called now? I forgot what the book's called now. It's about the Gloomspite Gits. I can't remember. I've read so many books recently. I can't remember them from one from the other. Got Destruction Tactics for Zarbag's Git. Zarbag, of course, being a special character and his unit being a special retinue. We've got more Moonclan Shooter stuff going on. We've got, let's have a look here, Battle Plan 3, Forged in War, the Essence of Genius. Again, those we get to choose what we're doing with them. Before we move into the battle itself. And there we go. So yeah, that's again, that's been quite a mixed issue. It's got some lovely lore, and the lore is, let's drop something. The lore in itself is quite interesting because it covers a faction that we don't really see, which is the Lumineth Realm Lords. Now we get our paints, just so you can see them here. Ogryn Camo and Stormhost Silver. So these are layers, but they seem to be being suggested as highlighting colours rather than base colours, but I think that one, I think I'm going to use that to help give a lighter green on some of my Bretonnian bowmen. So I'm going to be using that soon. Okay, so that's our issue number 53. So actually for a paint issue, it doesn't actually give you a lot of paint technique other than highlighting. It's actually better for its lore than its painting techniques, which is quite interesting to look at. Anyway, so please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.